The Chinese are buying up land all across the US. This is a red alert. I got into this in a previous video as well as talked about it in my book, and today I am going to break down exactly why this is very dangerous. Golden Dragon announcement in Thomasville appears set for Monday, and the city of Thomasville was so broke that they needed to give up their land in order to have this development take place. And it says right here, City of Thomasville and others intend to give land and other incentives to GD Copper USA. That's Golden Dragon Precise Copper Tube Group. So essentially, they are unable to the cities and counties are so broke. And of course, the nation itself, the US, is so broke that they need to give up their land, the most precious asset of any nation being its land, and they're now giving it up to the Chinese. And if you know anything about the Chinese, the way the system is set up in China is that most of the corporations, not all of them, but most of the corporations are owned by the government. They're state controlled or state owned corporations. So essentially, when the corporation takes over here, there are controlled indirectly or directly by the Chinese government. And this obviously poses a problem. Let me get into this first. The Golden Dragon 40-acre site is an industrial city park south of Thomasville High School, 1.5 million and 50,000 square foot building. So this is a big project that's happening right here. They're actually giving up the land underneath these buildings here, not just the real estate. And I'll get into why that's an issue here. And for example, this is the food industry getting taken over, the farming industry. Smithfield Foods is acquired for 4.72 billion, and they have 460 farms, and you're talking about $1 billion deal here. This is obviously a big issue down the road when the Chinese are going to be able to dictate what exactly goes on, because when they own the land, they own the farms, they are going to start owning the politicians, and obviously that brings a problem down the line because notably, China isn't exactly a friend of the US in many instances. They are very vocal about what they're doing, and here they are buying up not only the real estate, but buying up the land as well. Now, before I get to the highlight of this video, I just want to note that in the previous video, I talked about how the Chinese were buying up the real estate in many areas of the US. Now, this goes far beyond that because this is the Chinese government and the major Chinese corporations, many of which owned by the state, buying up the land all around the US. This goes beyond that. Now, they're going to be able to dictate exactly what happens in this country when things get tough and when the Chinese are really get a foothold into this nation. This is the big issue here. China City of America. Now their intention, their proposal, nothing's happened yet, but their proposal is to build their own city. It's actually called China City of America. It's a conceptual plan at this point, but it's a multi-use commercial, residential, business, education, and music and entertainment components to be built in New York. And this is obviously, nothing's been done yet, as I've said, but they're trying to build their own cities in the nation. Now, what that's going to do is obviously create a huge divide when they're able to dictate, as I said, exactly what's happening. This is a huge problem. They own the debt of the nation. And what's going to happen here? Now they have their feet in the door. But what's going to happen is you're going to have major defaults happening in cities and counties all around the US. And you're going to have the Chinese coming in and scooping up those homes, those pieces of land. They're going to be able to get things on the pennies on the dollar, and they're going to be able to do so and become the saviors, which obviously is a big problem. As I've said, the Chinese aren't exactly, I'm talking about the government, of course, not the Chinese people, but they have made many threats towards the US and towards the West on many occasions. So the US corporations, US government should not be so eager to just give up land, such a precious asset, and just give it away like that to the Chinese or to anyone, in fact, because it needs to remain within the nation where people care about their own country, or at least should, this is a big problem that I foresee in the future, and I'm sure that you all agree with me. If you do, please give me a thumbs up on this video. I want you guys to all get on the Money GPS Insiders, join the hundreds that have already joined on there, and this is basically an extension of the work that I do here on YouTube and as well as in my book, and basically you'll get occasional emails from me, and I hope to see you all there. Take care.